world. I just want to share my experience of teaching online, but especially how to assess students you don't see. As you might know, in Italy, it was a bit crazy because, as you can see, I teach in a liceo, which is a secondary school in Turin, and teachers and students, we all were home for the break for Carnival, Mardi Gras, and lockdown. We couldn't go back to school. We had to invent a new way of teaching. And for me, this had a great problem because if you teach a language, you must communicate. Communication is essential. How can I communicate for real just using a computer? Let's take the example we're having just now. I am talking to a microphone to my computer. And I hope you are interested, you can listen to my voice. I hope there is, a kind of communication, but I don't know. I have to wait the feedback. And so that's the idea, okay? How can I teach language, continue teaching how to communicate the different language without being with the students, okay? In this slide, I tried to sum up the problems I was facing as many teachers, okay? I couldn't have a real communication with my students, okay? We could meet thanks to technology, but it was not the same. And also there was no real feedback as we are not having real feedback now. You can write something in the chat box, but I can't, let's say, look at that. There's no real feedback. If you look at your students, you can see from their faces if they understand what you're telling them, if they care about what you are telling them. And this was not possible anymore. Also, the interaction between the students has to be artificial. We could practice a speaking session, for example, to get ready for first certificate, Cambridge first certificate, but it was not the same. We could just rely on technology. My school is a G Suite school, and so we could use all the Google tools to try to create a kind of communication with the students. Google Meet, I think, is a very good tool. It's easy, it's flexible. It's not the same as being face-to-face with the students, but it's okay. What I think is a very valid tool is Google Classroom. For example, I could, using Classroom, assign a TED Talk to my students. I could ask them to watch the talk, to write a review, to propose a different idea, and we could use that to interact, because we could talk about that. It was one by one, not the same as being together with the students, but it was something. I think that Google Classroom also helped me with the biggest problem. The Italian teachers know that in Italy we have to give a number to assess all the time. The students want it, the parents need it, and the head teacher told us that we had to assess in some way. I confess I didn't want to assess, especially a teenager locked inside his flat, in his bedroom maybe, without the chance of playing with his, let's say, mates in the football team, without seeing his schoolmates, without maybe meeting his boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, okay? So how could I give a bad feedback, a bad number in the case of the Italian school, to a student like this just because his grammar was poor? But especially the other problem was that knowing technology, I didn't want to give an excellent mark to a writing, especially that was clearly copied from the web. I know my students. A student could not reach that level of perfection in a writing without cheating. Okay, So I found an answer to both my problems using Google Classroom. Let's see the next slide. Okay. How to assess remotely was the huge problem and what I will be talking about. And the first answer was formative assessment using Classroom. What does it mean? It means that you don't give a negative number, a positive number, but you correct mistake by mistake and indicate to your student how to improve, correct every little thing. For example, with Google Classroom, you can give the students a writing to do. When they hand it over to you, you can go inside in the suggestion mode and you can, let's say, delete the grammar mistake. It doesn't disappear completely. You see the green color there, and you can propose the solution. At the same time, Google Classroom opens a little box you can't see, and let's say you can write why that is not okay. It's a bad grammar mistake. Please remember that. I use the different system to indicate the vocabulary mistakes. You see the word in yellow? It was to indicate that that word grammatically was okay, but in reality, the verb is not the right one. Maybe another one was a bit better. So I used the other commentary, we can say, to indicate the vocabulary mistake. I finished this with the final evaluation of the task, pointing out the positive points, maybe indicating if I, let's say, agreed with their idea or not, and also suggesting a little, let's say, a way of improving, the writing task. My students said that this was really helpful for them because, okay, I didn't correct the writing. They could accept every little indication in different colors, and they could rewrite and correct the writing by themselves. And they said that they learned a lot, especially those students who had very poor grammar. So I think that this was, let's say, a positive way of assessing remotely. Of course, it is time-consuming. I think my eyes still remember all those writings I had to correct in this way, especially if you have many students and if you are given more than one task every month. So this was quite, let's say, effective but time-consuming. The other way to solve the potential problem of, let's say, a perfect, I don't know why I cannot change the slide. Okay, sorry, I have to go back. Now it's okay. This is the other tool. I'm sorry, I cannot read the chat and let's say talk, but it's Google Classroom is one of the apps of the Google Suite as Meet. It's excellent for, let's say, students. This is a very useful tool. You can create a Google document. You can write inside what they have to do. For example, this way was to write a review of a movie. And you can activate this tool called Originality Report. Last year, it was just possible for those who used the Google Classroom in English, but this year it is also available if you are using Google Classroom, for example, in Italian. What does it do? It's really useful because when the student hands in the writing, Google flags the passages that seem to be copied from the web, also indicating the source. In this case, as you can see, 2 flagged passages from Wikipedia. Of course, I didn't use this to give a bad mark. No, just to show my students that if you copy from the web, it is not a way to learn how to write. You could use the web as a source for inspiration, for vocabulary, but I think that in this way it's just a way to show the students that it's no good copying and pasting. If you want to quote, okay, you had better write it by yourself. In this way, I use this to show that it is, yes, plagiarism is not okay, but it's so easy for students who are having a task that maybe it's valid for the final examination, and you are not with them. They could be using this to cheat. Of course, there must be, bottom line, a gentleman's agreement. You have to trust your students that they will do the task by themselves, especially if they are having the task remotely, and you will show them that even if you are not there, you can help them. For example, if they had any problems during the real test, they could be asking questions using the chat in Google Meet, for example. Okay, so this was a way to, number one, with the other assessment, to help them correct themselves and tell them why that was not okay. In the second one, to discourage plagiarism. I think it's a very important point. What could be my conclusions? Sorry, I have to wait for the slide to appear. It's not appearing maybe now. It's my computer. Okay. What are my conclusions? I think that teaching a language just relying on technology is only for an emergency. In Italy nowadays, we are back in the classroom. We are back at the school. We are wearing a face mask almost all the time. But I think it's much better because interaction is more real. Even if we cannot speak freely because of the face mask, it's much better. Especially if you're teaching to teenagers. It could be difficult with distancing and so on, but it's much better than just rely on technology. Maybe adults could benefit from this way of learning the language, but in my opinion, I think it's just for an emergency, especially because the interaction is just artificial. In my opinion, what was the hardest thing was to assess remotely in a way that could change the final evaluation of a student at the end of the year. So I think that Google Classroom is a very good tool. Google Meet is a very handy tool in case you have to be away from your students, but it's not a good substitute for the real communication in your classroom. I hope you got the ideas I wanted to tell you. I hope it was interesting. And if you got any questions, now Josatak will read them to me. I will try to do my best to answer them. Thank you. Microphone to you, Josatak.
Thank you, Fulvia. Thank you very much. Thank you, Fulvia. Thank you very much for sharing with us. I have one question from Vanessa. Can we use originality reports with the free version or only with the paid version? I'm going to repeat the question. It's from Vanessa. Can we use originality reports with the free version or only with the paid version?
Can you listen to my voice? Can you listen to me? Can you listen to my voice? Okay, if you can hear me, this is also for free. It can be used also for free. It's just for 2 to 3 tasks in a school year. This is okay. They are going to change it to 5. Our school was told it's free. It's not. You don't have to pay, and I think it's quite useful for plagiarism. It's a very good tool. I'm sorry, I was having problems with my computer. It was, lagging. I apologize for the microphone. So, Jonathan, back to you.
Hello, this is Josadak. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, can you please type yes, Josadak? Can you please type my name to see that you can hear me? Can you please type yes, Josadak? Oh, I can. Oh, perfect. Thank you, teachers. Perfect. It's lagging. Perfect. Yes, I experience. I apologize for the lag. I had also some technical difficulties here, but I managed to come back. I applied logging out and logging back in, and I made sure that I had everything closed in my browser. Perfect. So let's see. Well, I think we should, Vanya, I'm gonna ask you to open your camera, to open your mic, okay? Just to have the sound check. Fulvia, thank you very much. We have some questions here, but I think the audio is not working. So I think at this point, what we can do is do a sound check. Perfect. I think they're still working with the sound check. Perfect. So, Vanya, what I suggest is for you to look out and look back in to the session. Perfect. Meanwhile, teachers, let's Hello, this is a sound check. Thank you very much for staying with us. We want to thank again Fulvia. Fulvia, thank you very much for all for the experience that you have shared with us. Personally, it was very good to hear your experience in Italy. We are waiting for Vanya. Vanya will be connecting in a minute. So while we wait for Vanya, I'd like to ask you, teachers. Um, I'm going to ask you to share one tip that you can share with the rest of us when handling situations with technology when teaching. One tip, and keep it very short. Keep it 3-4 words, very simple. Okay, very simple. Just very simple words to give us tips. So patience. Oh, Christina, I love it. We have to be patient and empathic. Patience, empathy, laugh. I love. Believe me, yes, I want to laugh. Perfect. Stay calm. Love it. Love it. Be patient. Don't panic. Perfect. You stay humble. Isabella, you Zoom. We can use different, do alternatives of platforms. Of course, always have a plan B. I completely agree. Don't panic. High flexibility, possibility. Perfect. I think this is very, what you're mentioning. It's something that we have been experiencing for the last couple of months. Personally, I learned a lot also, not only through, webinars with teachers and supporting teachers, but also doing, interacting, doing home office with my colleagues, learning new ways of working and communicating. I noticed that the mention of mindfulness, motivation, and support. I completely agree. Empathy. Empathy is coming out a lot. I love it. Distance learning can be very challenging for teachers as well for students with disabilities and their family. Luz Aurora, I think this is something very important that you mentioned. How we need to support us, to support the students, to support their family. This is very good reflection. Perfect. For the last 6 months, says Isabel. Yes, it happens to me. That's why I have not a mobile phone connected. Perfect. Know your tools and maximize lessons. I agree. We need to understand the limits of our tools. We need to understand what works and doesn't work with the tools. Someone said plan B, right? Someone said, Mohan says, what accent it is? Indian? No, I am Mexican. There you go. Okay, look. Let's totally agree. Perfect. Please, can you send the link? I think someone is asking for a link. Prepare well. Planning. Planning has to be, I think, a crucial part of it. Have plan B. Perfect. Perfect. There you go. Perfect. Can you hear me now? I had a little bit of an echo, so I made sure that I had everything closed. Perfect. So let's see, Vanya. There you are. I see Vanya has connected. So Vanya, I'd like to introduce to you Vanya. She's a teacher from Brazil. I'm very happy that she's going to be able to share with us her experience. So Vanya, at this point, I would like to ask you to open your microphone to say hi to all of our teachers. Let's see.
Hi, everyone. Josadak, I have no camera. Is that okay? Well, everyone, can you listen to me? Okay. Josadak, I'm going to continue, okay? I have no camera. I'm sorry. I'd love to wave at you. So, as Josadak said, I'm Vania from Brazil, and I was invited to talk to you a little bit about motivation in this remote teaching, in this hard and unexpected environment we are. I say we are because in Brazil, we are still teaching in a remote mode. the rates of COVID are rising, and we are still online, not back to school yet, and probably not this year. So I'm from a school in São Paulo, Brazil, and I'd like to tell you to start with something. It might be very common for all of us, all the challenges we have faced and we are still facing in this remote mode. Of course, Fulvia fully explained the problem and the big challenge of assessment, and I'm going to add to her nice talk some other aspects about this teaching online. So basically, we had lots of challenges for students and teachers alike. Both have faced technical issues. We have just faced one. I have just faced a technical issue now, a technical problem, and this is something that can happen every now and then. Students also have the problem of being self-motivated, and that's a big challenge for us to cater for. Distractors, which we still can see that is a great problem for students. Parents working online, dogs barking, and siblings having online classes, the bell ringing, lots of distractors. As COVID has advanced, we have also witnessed some health and emotional problems among students. This has been raising because we've got some more grandparents and sometimes parents, uncles and aunts who have been ill, and this has, of course, affected students. Teachers, besides the technical issues, should I continue, guys? You have no slides, they're saying. Is it okay? I have my slides on. I'm going to continue, okay? So, it's moving by itself. I'm trying to get back. Just a second. Yeah. Again, a kind of, all right, let's see. So we were talking still about the challenges teachers have been facing. So to engage students is the biggest issue. Teachers have been very open to learn, since they have to learn how to use new platforms, new apps, and develop new strategies to engage students. Follow up on students' progress. That's basically what Fulvia has talked to us about, yeah, in a deeper way. Online preparation, teachers have reported it's much more time consuming. For some reason, they have to cater for different stuff. Again, health and emotional issues among teachers, and the logistics at home, simply where to stay, because sometimes we have, like, I have a teacher who's got 3 kids having online classes. She is working online, and her husband. So 5 people working online at home. It's not easy to find a silent place for everybody. Yeah. Well, at school, most of us, we have focused on teaching students how to be, how to socialize, how to do, how to learn. And we have really had to reinvent ourselves in this online environment. We have asked teachers to focus really on the learning and the meaningfulness of their classes, so that we could try to guarantee students learning and engaging them through meaningful activities and situations at home, online. Yeah, let me try to move. We have tried to adopt diversified strategies and sources. Of course, the teachers already used lots of apps in face-to-face classes, but now they had to develop some other apps. They had to learn how to use different apps, and because of different situations require different kinds of interaction. So those are some of the apps the teachers have been using at school, so that they can engage students and keep motivation up. Yeah. Also, guys, not only new apps have been developed and learned and applied, but all sorts of strategies to keep students motivated and engaged in class. Yeah, we have been using lots of flipped classroom that you must be familiar with. So flipped classroom proved to be very efficient in this online mode. Thinking routines, you might know also from the education school of Harvard, the Zero Project. They've worked a lot on these thinking routines, how to make the thinking visible. And we've tried to apply that in the remote mode, and it has worked out pretty well. I'll give you an example after this slide. Lots of varied educational apps. We have tried to keep developing reading skills such as skimming and scanning, and also but reading as a bridge to oral interaction, yeah, so that students can interact besides reading, which is a silent skill, yeah, a solitary skill, to oral interaction. We have added a lot of reporting news. In the very beginning of the pandemic, students were asked to bring news from different countries, from our country, which is huge. So we had different realities. Inside Brazil, we had different realities, whereas São Paulo was finding an efficient way how to deal with the disease. Another state up north would face lots of difficulties to make it possible for people to be in hospitals. So students would bring different news from different parts of Brazil and other countries. With the little ones, we have used a lot of storytelling with different strategies, videos, and the teacher himself or herself, and other people from outside, telling kids stories and interacting to make them motivated. Lots of YouTube videos, but we had to be very careful not to choose long videos. So a 3-minute video has proved to be enough to engage students and to trigger some kind of discussion, interaction. We have promoted lots of discussions from the topics of the book. We use the ebook solutions from Oxford, which is very efficient, very teacher-friendly, and the topics from the book, they trigger lots of nice and engaging discussions. Games in general, we also try to transfer from face-to-face classes to the online mode, you know, as whenever possible, memory, bingo, guessing, and games in apps, different ways. Video presentations at school, we use the iPad. Middle school and high school, they have iPads as part of their school material, so they use the iPad to make video presentations. And, you know, teenagers and young adults, they are very keen on using technology. So they were very engaged in preparing those video presentations. We have promoted dialogue among students, online live presentations. We have invited them to make all kinds of presentations live to their peers. Yeah, and we had some interaction among classes. And the listening comprehension activities, but basically based on videos. We use a lot of TED Talks, which engage students in different topics. Yeah, so those are the different strategies we try to use in class to keep students motivated. As I was telling you about this Harvard Project Zero, the thinking routine that many of you must be familiar with, they make the thinking visible, and that's the idea to engage students in different activities. And the thinking routines have also proved to be very efficient in this remote mode. So here I brought an example, a quick example of 2 thinking routines, yeah? But then I put 2 thinking routines together in the same activities. The first thinking routine, see, think, wonder. Students have to look at a photo, a picture, whatever, and they have to write, because this thinking routine is all about having the thinking visible. So they do have to write something very quickly in topics, what they see about the picture, what they think about the picture, and what they wonder, what they would like to know about the picture, about the painter, etc. There is this second thinking routine that students can look at a picture, or you can bring up a topic to the classroom, and they would have to talk about 3 words about the topic or the picture, 2 sentences, and 1 question. And here I put the 2 routines together: see, think, wonder, plus 3, 2, 1. So they would write 3 words about what they see, 2 sentences about what they think, and 1 question about what they wonder. Yeah, so that was a nice activity. They get really involved with that. And we have so there are about 20 thinking routines we can rely on and use in the classroom. So I pretty much advise you to look at this Project Zero Harvard thinking routine if you haven't. Yeah. Now, just to show you, here are a few pictures that you might have got yourself of students in the classroom. So although we have all these lots of difficulties we have faced, lots of challenges we are still facing, we can, I'm sorry, my slide's moving by itself. Yeah, this one. We can still see happy faces on teachers and students being engaged in activities we have proposed. So when talking about superheroes, they would come up with a mask or a costume, and they would discuss lively. We also we have here activism that was about current issues. A nice class when we had that sad episode in the beginning of our pandemic with George Floyd and Black Lives Matter. All this subject was brought up, and students have discussed that a lot. Yeah. So basically, this is to show you how we tried to keep our students motivated by using different educational apps and also different strategies. Yeah. And the ideas, basically, they all came from, oops, let's try go back. Okay. The ideas basically came from this site of Project Zero Harvard, and also from 3 books we've been exploring at school: Teach Like a Champion, Understanding by Design, and Preparing Teachers for a Changing World. Yeah. So guys, basically, I hope I have contributed somehow with some ideas. I'm not sure if the apps will be available for you, but I'll be happy to answer whatever you may come up with. Thank you so much. Thank you, Oxford, and I'll be glad to answer.
Hi, Vanya. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
There's a question from teacher Marwa. Wants to know, I want to ask, how can we motivate students to engage with us online? Hello, teachers. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, can you please type yes in the chat box? Hello. Thank you, teacher. Oh, perfect. I think Maria might have maybe her microphone has been disconnected. Let me get back to her. But I have some questions that you have asked, and I'm on.
Yeah. I think I can read them, Rosadak. So here, uh, yeah, I want to ask you, how can we motivate students to engage with us online? So basically, that's what I mentioned. Try to use as many different strategies as possible to vary, yeah, day after day. So that's why we try to learn and to apply different educational apps in the classroom as part of those strategies. Yeah. Another question, what is Harvard Zero Project? Yeah, if you Google, yeah, Harvard Zero Project, you are going to come with this project from the Harvard Education School, in which they have developed those nice strategies to be applied in the classroom. Yeah, and there was this example I've just shown you. Name some of video class making tools. Oh, okay, we could do that. Can I do that in the chat, Josadak? Not sure you can listen to me. I got a little bit stuck again. Can you listen to me, guys? Yeah. Not sure you can hear. Yeah, I think so. People are answering yes. So Movie Maker is one of the video class making tool. Another one that we use a lot is Clips, because we use the Apple device. Yeah, and there are lots of others. And we have some of those apps, educational apps, which make students able to make short videos and comics. That's basically it. Not sure it gets stuck again. Yes. So,
Hi, Vanya. I can hear you.
Josadak,
So
can you
thank you
listen
very
to
much.
me? I guess we have a
Perfect.
problem.
I can see that teachers can hear me. Perfect.
Let's see if it was a connection problem, maybe.
Well, thank you, Vanya. I think Vanya is having some a situation with her audio. Vanya is going to log out and log back in. Thank you, teachers. Just as a reminder, in a couple minutes we're gonna have a yoga session. Those of you who are interested in staying with us for the yoga session, just make sure that you are, you can observe, you can join us there. Please read the disclaimer before you decide to stay with us. Thank you very much. I want to thank Vanya and Fulvia again for her support. Personally, it was a great experience to be in contact with Fulvia, with Vanya the last couple of days, in sharing experience around technology and situations that we are experiencing day to day as teachers, and just working with our students in a different way. And thank you very much. I thank you for interacting. Thank you for your empathy. Thank you for your patience, as you had mentioned before. Thank you very much. If you want to join, please stay put. We're going to open the camera and we can start with our yoga session. Victoria. Victoria is our professional yoga trainer. She's going to support. She's going to support us today with that.
Thank you, Josadak. Hello, everyone. Good evening. So I hope you've had a good day. I'm going to finish with this 15-minute yoga session. So I'll share with you a really easy sequence that you can do for calming and grounding. So if you feel like your mind's a bit too busy, or you just want to take a little break out of your day or before the evening starts, you can do this 15-minute session. So you can lie down for this session, and if you've got space, you can lie on the floor, but you can easily do this lying on the bed. So it's up to you whether you want to be on the floor if you have space, or whether you want to lie on the bed. So you'll come to lie down, and you'll lie on your back, and you'll have the legs bent up, your feet about hip width. So it's a nice neutral position. And then you'll rest both hands on your lower belly, so both hands below the navel. And then if it's comfortable for you, you can close the eyes. If that's not comfortable, you can keep the eyes open, but simply soften the gaze. So take a moment here to really come into the physical body, lying on the floor or on the bed. And notice where your body is making contact with the surface below. So the soles of the feet, the back of the pelvis, the back ribs, the shoulder blades, the upper arms, the elbows, and the back of the head. And allow the body to soften a little into the surface below. Your hands are resting on your lower belly. Start to notice this gentle movement of the lower belly as you breathe. So when you breathe in, the abdomen gently expands. And when you breathe out, the abdomen softens. Just stay with that. Inhale, abdomen gently expands. And exhale, abdomen softens. So this breathing into the belly, it's really a calming, relaxing breath. Keeping your mind on that for a little bit longer. As you breathe in, the abdomen gently expands. And as you breathe out, abdomen softens. So when we get really busy or stressed, the diaphragm, that sheet of muscle below the lungs, tends to get quite tight. So when we do this belly breathing, we can really relax the diaphragm and we can breathe well. Just staying with that a little bit longer. And then we'll move into some gentle movements here. So bring your right knee in towards the chest, and you can interlace your fingers on that right shin, so you squeeze the thigh in towards you. And you can straighten the other leg on the floor. So straighten the left leg on the floor. And relax the shoulders and the face. Next time you breathe out, lift your head a little bit, bring your nose towards your knee. And as you breathe in, release your head back onto the floor or the bed. So when you breathe out, lift the head, nose to the knee. Inhale, release the head. Just two more. Exhale to lift, keep the shoulders relaxed. Inhale to release your head. Just one more. And when the head comes back down, pausing there. So the straight leg that's on the floor, bend it so you bring the left foot onto the floor now. Take your hands on the back of the right thigh. So we're still on the same leg, but now you're interlacing at the back of the thigh. Keep squeezing the thigh in. And then as you breathe in, you can straighten the leg vertical. And exhale, rebend and squeeze the thigh in. So inhale, begin to straighten the leg up to the ceiling. And exhale, bend the knee into the chest. Couple more, you can reach up through the heel as you straighten the leg, perhaps feel a little stretch in the hamstring and the calf. And exhale, rebend, squeezing the knee. Okay, so one more, inhale, straighten the leg to vertical, and this time you'll stay. Keep breathing here. If it feels strong stretch for you, you can keep a little bend in the knee. Keep the shoulders relaxed. And that foot that's in the air, you can point it and flex. Point and flex. Do that a couple more times. And now you can make circles with the foot, so you're circling into the ankle. You can do this as smoothly as you can. And then change direction with the circle, so you go back the other way. And then pause. Reach up through the heel. You can even spread the toes, and maybe you can bring the leg a little bit closer for a bit deeper stretch. Listen carefully. Bend the right leg. Bring your right ankle just above your left knee. Okay. And you can bring your right hand onto the right leg to gently press the knee away. I'm making this shape and I'm pressing the knee away. Now you can stay here, or you might be able to thread the needle. So you lift the left foot off the floor, your right arm goes through the gap, and you interlace at the back of that left thigh. Okay, so I'm holding the back of the left thigh. I'm drawing the left thigh towards me, and at the same time pressing the other knee away from me. It should feel like a stretch in the right outer hip, right outer hip. Keep the shoulders relaxed, keep the breath relaxed. So this is nice opening for the hips. It can get quite tight if you're sitting. Good, and then gently release your hands. Bring the left foot to the floor. And then bring the right foot to the floor, you're back in neutral. And then left knee comes into the chest. Interlace the fingers around the shin so you can squeeze the left thigh in and straighten the other leg on the floor. Okay, so the next time you breathe out, lift the head, bring your nose to your knee. And as you breathe in, release the head. So with the breath, exhale to lift the head and inhale to release. We do it twice more, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Good, last one. And when the head comes back down, pause there. The leg that is straight, so the right leg, bend it. The foot comes to the floor. And then flip your hands on the back of the left thigh. And the next time you breathe in, straighten the leg to vertical up to the ceiling. And exhale, rebend, squeeze the knee in. Inhale to straighten the leg up to vertical. Exhale, bending, squeezing in. So two more like that. So we're getting into the hamstring and the calf here. And the next time you inhale and straighten the leg, you'll stay here. Keep breathing. That foot that's in the air, point and flex, point and flex. Do that a couple more times. And then you can circle through the ankle one way. and the other way. Good, and then pause, keep reaching up through the heel. Maybe you can draw the leg in a little bit closer, deepen the stretch, keep breathing. And then you'll bend that lifted leg. That ankle comes above the right knee. Okay. Use your left hand to gently press the left knee away from you. So you're making this shape with the legs and you're gently pressing the knee away. Either stay here or draw the legs towards you and interlace at the back of the right thigh. Okay, so your left arm is going between the legs so you can catch, that right thigh. Okay, so gently squeezing the right thigh towards you, relaxing the shoulders. Breath is relaxed. Good, and then release the foot to the floor and the left foot to the floor, pausing in neutral for a moment. Walk the feet a little bit wider now, so walk your feet wider than hip width. Okay, and you're just going to let the knees go side to side. So as you breathe out, let the knees drop to the right, so you roll to the edges of the feet. And then inhale, bring the legs back to center. And then exhale, drop the knees to the other side. And inhale to center. So keep going like that. It's a bit like a windscreen wiper action. And again, we just loosen up into the hips. The next time your legs go to the right, stay there. So knees are dropping to the right. You can take your arms a little bit wider out to the side. You can stay here, or you can try bringing your right ankle onto your left knee. So your right ankle onto the left knee. So that helps just gently deepen the stretch in that left thigh and reach the arms behind you. So you're opening up really the left side of the body, that left thigh. Perhaps if you've been sitting a lot, then it's quite nice to open the front of the thigh. Feel the breath relax. And then just taking the arms a little bit lower, so more out to the side. You can bring your right foot to the floor. Bring the knees back to center and then drop them to the other side. And you're welcome to stay here or maybe bring that left foot on top of that right knee. Left foot on top of the other knee. And again, perhaps reach the arms behind you. So we're opening up through that right side of the body now. Breath is relaxed. And then bring the arms a little bit lower again. Release your left foot to the floor. Bring the knees back to center and give the knees a squeeze into the chest. Have a little rock from side to side and feel the massage on the back as you rock side to side. Good, and then come back to center, release the feet to the floor, and then extend both legs on the floor. So your feet are wider than your hips and your feet are flopping out to the side. Okay. You can leave the arms a little bit away from you with the palms facing up. And if it's comfortable, closing. So that's a really simple sequence, really getting into the hips and the legs in all directions. And it's quite a calming sequence to do. So now, just let the body completely soften to the floor or to the bed. You can take a breath in through the nose and gently sigh the breath out through the mouth. And you can do that twice more, in through the nose, out through the mouth. So you hear the breath. One more like that. Bringing awareness to your mouth. Let your tongue rest in the lower palate. Let your tongue rest down. Relax your forehead. Feel the shoulder blades dropping down and away from each other. And relax the abdomen. Just allow yourself to do nothing. Very gently bring the hands back onto the lower belly, so below the navel. Simply reconnect to the breath. As you breathe in, abdomen gently expands. And as you breathe out, abdomen softens. Staying with that a little bit longer and just notice, perhaps it's easier now for you to keep your mind on the movement of the breath than at the beginning of this practice. Good, and then you can bring the awareness back to the body. You can start to move the fingers a little bit, move the toes a little bit. Gently roll the head from side to side. And then you can bend up the legs and hug the knees into the chest. And then gently roll to one side and bring yourself up. So you can bring the hands together. You can bow the head. And then lifting the head. So thank you for joining me this little short practice. And hopefully you'll get a recording of this, so if you want to repeat it. But anytime you need a little bit of calm in your day, you can always rest hands on the tummy and do that belly breathing. So I'll hand you back to Josadak. Thank you, and see you soon.
Thank you, Victoria. Thank you very much for being with us today. It was a good experience. I think I have to be very honest. Today I did not have my mat ready, but I think next week I will have it ready. I think I'm gonna have it ready for next week. Teachers, thank you very much for being with us today. I know it's Friday. I know you. We have some of us are still working. Some of us are going to have a weekend. So if you're working or you are going to enjoy your weekend, enjoy it. let's I'm gonna keep those two words that you mentioned with me today: patience and empathy. I'm gonna keep it this couple days. Thank you very much for sharing with us your experiences as well. Thank you, Fulvia, and thank you, Vania, for sharing your experience with you. And we're gonna type in the chat box right now our link to make sure that you can give us your feedback. As I had mentioned before, we're always welcome, and we always listen. We want to listen to you to make sure that we improve our experience and we improve these sessions with you. Teachers, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.